It is really good to be back in California where I'm warm. I'm here in Long Beach at the motorcycle show, and it's a huge show. This is the first of 5 cities that I'll be doing with the show. I'm doing a packing seminar on adventure packing specific for weekend warriors, world travelers, different tips and tricks that I've learned over the years as an adventure rider. But most importantly, I'm just really excited to connect with fans down here. I'm always just a little bit nervous for the first show, but this is going to be fun. What's not in this kit that I brought through Africa are the parts that I could not acquire in Africa that I knew I would wear out on the motorcycle. I had an XT600 I bought in Spain. I sold the bike in Mozambique. What I couldn't find were sprockets, quality chains, brake pads, and I knew I would use all of those. I wouldn't be able to find chain loop. Those are the things that extra space is used for. I just finished up a packing presentation here at the International Motorcycle Show. And what I have here is all of the stuff I brought with me through a 5-month trip in Africa. I'll just show you the things that I have and how I compartmentalize that. Obviously, I carry an emergency tent with me. This is a 2-person tent, enough space for all of my gear if I need it. When I sleep, I have a small compact bag and I carry a 20-degree liner. The bag is good for camping, but the liner I use sometimes at hotels and also at hostels as kind of a hostel sheet. The other thing I carry for camping is just an inverted bag with a fleece lining that turns into a pillow. And then it also has my sleeping hat so I stay warm, and it has a lantern to keep light inside. In this bag, I'm also going to keep my first aid kit on top. That's why it's the last thing I put in, because it hopefully will never be the first thing I grab out. And then I grab a stove. This is a metal cup for hard boiling eggs, making coffee. My stove is just an alcohol stove made out of aluminum cans. And of course, because I'm comfortable, or I want to be comfortable, I have an inflatable. This is a 3-inch inflatable mat that's also insulated. So that's all of my camp gear. The other things in this bag is I've got a flash, a really lightweight backpack. If I have to hike out someplace, go grocery shopping, it takes very little space, it's in the bottom. And then my toolkit, which I've already done a video on, this goes on the very bottom. It keeps the weight low, and chances are I'm not gonna need to grab it really quick. So I bury that down nice and deep. My rain gear is always gonna be on the outside because I don't wanna have to dig into it. It needs to be convenient, so I don't hesitate putting it on. I've got rain pants, a rain jacket, and then also my warm gloves are always going to be on the backpack or the back pouch here, where it's very, very quick, very easy to get to. The other back pouch on this one are the shoes that I'm wearing. What's left over is my computer. I always carry a computer with me. All of the charge cords, memory, portable mouse, all of that goes down at the bottom. Now, when I put the computer in, what I do is I make sure that I'm always putting it back against the hard edge. That way, if I do fall down, it's not gonna flex or get damaged. And then I'm gonna take my bag of clothes, this is all of my clothes, and I'm gonna use that on the outside of the computer to hold it into place. That way, if I do again, I do fall, it's not gonna damage the computer. This is boot dryers I bring with me. My boots get wet, that's never a good thing. All that's left at this point is one bag with insulation. This is my liner for going underneath the jacket. That goes in here, there's nothing else in there. I have a spare shield, which will go on the top. And then I have my camera with an extra lens, and that usually goes on top of the bike. That's it, guys. That's everything I bring with me. I have enough stuff here to go to a nice dinner and look good. I have enough stuff to be clean. I can be comfortable on site when I'm camping. I can fix the bike if I have a problem. I can take care of medical emergencies if I'm there. If the bike breaks down, I have everything in there to fix the bike. These are the essentials. Here's a pro tip. Take all of your electrical items and rewire them to have the same plug. I use an SAE plug. So my power converter, my boot dryers, my GPS, everything uses the same plug set. Also cooking gear. Often you're gonna pick up food along the way. You can live on boiled food and dehydrate if that's how you like. If I camp, I want real food. We are adventure riders, guys. We do not have to eat dehydrated food. I go through a town every day. I eat steak if I'm cooking in camp. That is proper. I have bacon and eggs for breakfast. That is proper. I am an adventure rider, not a backpacker. I don't have to carry it. Okay. I'm Bret Tax. I'm at the International Motorcycle Show. I'm almost 50. That's as close as you get into my age. And my very first experience was my brother putting me on a 185 Yamaha in a foggy field full of orchard trees and apple trees, sent me out and said, don't hit any trees. I was successful and I've been riding ever since. Often the large bags also give you more space. What's the problem with more space? We use it, exactly. If it's there, we need to fill it. Finally, I get to see the Ténéré 700, but I'm told no US spec bikes here. I begged them to ride it. Nobody gets to ride it, not even the employees. However, I do want to take a look at some of the specs here and sport touring, adventure touring, Ténéré 700, and see what they're willing to tell us about the American bike. They did tell me that we have 3 different colors, but that's not really what we're interested in. Specs, that's what I'm interested in. Let's take a look and see what they offer us. The important things. Now, we know it's fuel injected. We know it's going to be chain drive. Here's what matters. We have a 21, a proper 21 on the front. We have an 18 on the back. Our suspension is basically adventure spec. We're 8.3 on the front. They're claiming 7.9 on the back. And ground clearance is 9.5, very respectable number, 9.5 inches. And our seat height is 34.6. There's no horsepower specs here, there's no fuel economy, there's no weight, but it is 4.2 gallons. And if it's getting 50 miles to the gallon, which is very realistic, that's theoretically a 200-mile range. So let's hope that's what we're gonna get, and go take a look at the bike. Well, here it is. It's the bike we've all been waiting to see. I always wondered why the 660 Ténéré never came to the States. Turns out it was the cost of the emissions to get it here, but now we have the 700. And you know, first impression, this bike, it's narrow. It looks like it's really gonna make a difference. And we're not gonna get to riding. They don't have any US spec bikes here. This is a Euro spec. It's a simple bike. It's not a lot of electronics to worry about. The key is just a standard key. It's not a computer coded key. It has ABS, it's on or off, no traction control. It's the market that is kind of open right now. The KLR isn't being made anymore. The DR650 is ancient, and this one really fills that. And under 10,000 for list, this is, I really can't wait to get my hands on this and try it out and see how it performs. You know, looking at it, this has, you know, credible, you know, specs. It's an 18-inch rim on the back. It's a 150/70/18. Going to be really easy to find good, aggressive off-road rubber. Of course, the front is a 21. It's running pretty standard, basically adventure spec ground clearance. It's 9.5 inches, respectable. The back is supposed to be 7.9 inches travel. The front is 8.3. Certainly respectable for adventure. It's not a hardcore dirt bike. And you know, comparing this against the 790, not being able to ride it, I think they really are looking at different markets. When you look at the horsepower on this, it's down in horsepower, but it's also less expensive, less technology. It's a simpler bike. There's a very specific type of rider who's going to want this that's going to be different than the 790. Really stands out to me, the bike is narrow. There's nothing hanging outside of this engine. It feels, when I'm sitting on it, standing next to it, like it's going to be great in the trails. Also, I'm always looking at the things that are going to be a problem if the bike falls down. What are the things that I have to worry about being damaged? The radiator is tucked in really tight, and the way the bodywork comes on this, I can't imagine this bike having significant problems with damage. Also, it's a steel frame. Everything's inside the frame, But as an adventure rider, if I'm traveling, some of these specs really stand out. If I have a damage to the frame, I can weld it. I'm not worried about a computer key or having a failure with antennas. I'm not worried about electronics getting in trouble. It really does have some great redeeming qualities and potential. We do have inverted forks, of course, and adjustable. This is, and for $1 under 10,000, I think they're really priced at the right point. I can't wait to get my hands on this and really put it to use. When I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about where the market is, I think Yamaha's really got the right time to launch it. At the price point it is, the KLR is done, the DR650 is ancient, it's the right price, and there's a very specific market that isn't there right now. Everything is high tech. This comes in low tech, but it still has fuel injection, it still has, you know, the modern counterbalancers, it has ABS. Those are the most critical aspects on a bike. The controls are clean. I think the market is right, and I think it's the proper target and price point.